Guys, good evening. Tonight I'm going to talk about Saturn and Pisces in the first house. So, how do I perceive this placement? What kind of animal do we have here? Well, we have fish here. Literally, the symbol of the Pisces is two fishes. So, when I thought about this placement, the thing that came to mind was a mythical creature. That's how I see you as those of you who have this placement. You're a mythical creature, and you know it too. I know you know what I'm talking about. I'm going to explain more. Why do I say mythical? Because in the world of Pisces, people who have Saturn in Pisces, people who have South Node in Pisces, you guys have your own little world. Now, we all have our own little world, but you specifically and especially have a world that nobody else knows about, a world that's very beautifully curated by you, that not many people are allowed to, a world that you go to. And why does that happen? Because Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, all right? So automatically it encompasses everything that came before it. And Pisces kind of says, look, because I'm the last one, I basically know all the guys that came before me. I have love for all the guys that came before me. Love, respect, unconditional love in all their manifestations. So Pisces in that way is unconditional, sacrificial. Christ consciousness is associated with Pisces, right? Because even in Christianity, the symbol of Jesus is the fish. So you see it on people's cars, fish, and then inside of it is written Jesus. So the Pisces is basically, he's unconditional. So this archetype is all about love. It's all about acceptance. It's all about encompassing everybody, accepting everybody the way they are with all their, positives and negatives, okay? But as they are here on Earth, when they look around in this world, they don't see that. I mean, their eyes, they see it with their own eyes, but they realize that other people don't see it with the same eyes. So they see a lot of atrocities. They see a lot of bad things, a lot of pain, suffering. So for Pisces, on one hand, they don't understand how can people be that way. So the way they deal with all of that is they escape. They say, you know what? I don't like it here. I'm not happy here. I see why they're doing what they're doing, but I don't like this. I don't like the way this world is. So you escape into your own little world. That's why I say you more than anybody have that little world, a world that's beautiful, a world that's unconditional, a world that is forgiving, a world that is sacrificial too, a world that basically says everybody love everybody, okay? So that's why I say mythical creature, because in that world of yours, and this is how I'm going to tie it to the first house, because the first house is what? Your physical appearance, your image, your identity. In that world of yours, you are that creature. And that creature can be anything. It can be Aquaman. It can be a mermaid. It can be Amber Heard's character from Aquaman. It can be a what do you call those guys? Shoot. An elf. It can be anything. You are that way in a way. Like you have that world where in that world you are something else than what you are in this physical body. All right? And just as those things can be beautiful and ethereal and maybe angelic or they can also be dark too, okay? Because that identity of yours, that world of yours, doesn't have to be just about like beautiful anime characters. It can be a world where you are a demon in a way. We already said that Pisces is unconditional. So Pisces accepts all of, the polarity of humanity, the good and the bad, the light and the dark. So in that world of yours, there could be demons. There could be a world where there may be some kind of dark entities. And they're cool too. So you may associate yourself with some kind of demonic creature. And there's nothing wrong with that because it's your world, so you can do whatever you want with it. In your world, all of that exists. Okay? So here's what's happening. Because you yourself identify with that, some of you may keep that image here and never tell anybody about it. But you always know that you are that. You know you're not the body that you are. There could be a dissociation with the body because you're like, yes, over here I'm a female and I'm 5'3", but in this other world of mine, my identity is totally different. I could be a 7-foot demon with like lots of hair and a bunch of arms and all kinds of, because the imagination is nuts here because we have Neptune. Neptune is like everything. It encompasses like all kinds of things. So that's the interesting part. So some of you could be living in that world just through imaginary. Others could be literally bringing that world in this physical, okay, through the way that you express yourself. So let's say you could be dressing a certain way. It could be not necessarily a creature from a different plane or like a different realm. It can be like a time period, let's say. So you may have girls who dress up as pin-up girls, or some kind of way that you are living in that time period. It can be the 60s, it can be 18th century, 16th century, maybe even from the beginning of time. Something where you are choosing without fear to say, you know what? I am going to bring that world on the outside. I'm going to bring it here and I'm going to show it to everybody what's really where I'm living. I'm going to show kind of where my attention is, because with Pisces in the first, and Pisces in general, Saturn and Pisces, it's like you're here, I see you, but you're not here. Like I see you, I see your body and all, you're talking to me, but you're somewhere else. It's almost like one of the fishes is present on Earth, the other one's swimming in somewhere else. Okay? So it's good when you have both of your feet, where you can go between these worlds. A lot of times some people are completely not present in the physical and are more so in that other world. All right? Those would be extreme cases where they're really like levitating somewhere, where Neptune completely takes over, because you guys know Neptune rules Pisces, and literally there's no discernment of like where I am. So you're literally living, whatever's in your mind is like living in your real life. Some extreme cases of people bringing forward that imaginary world, that illusion in a sense, because it is an illusion. All right? To us, it's an illusion. To you, it's not an illusion because you're living it. What do you mean it's an illusion? I see it. I feel it every night when I go to sleep. I'm astral traveling and I know it. I know where I'm going. So other examples would be where you may not be satisfied with the body that you have and you're changing it. So you may be doing, you may like tattoo your whole body to make it look like Aquaman because you see yourself as Aquaman. All right, so you may tattoo everything from like muscles, everything, definition, whatever, like just, it's beautiful work of art. If you look at it that way, it's really beautiful. Tattoo your whole body. You could be doing plastic surgery to your body to alter features, to alter, let's say, your eyes, make yourself like a feline. Maybe not Catwoman, but like, let's say you want to look feline and you really are going to like modify your eyes and everything, whatever else you're going to do. And you see pictures, guys, you see pictures on the internet, people that have morphed their body into something totally different than what they were. It could be things where people inject ink, or somehow they do it where they darken their eyes and they look kind of demonic. You see people that cut their tongues to make it look like a snake's tongue. It's like bifurcated. You guys, anyway, you can look it up. So then there's people who, another extreme could be where you're changing your body and give it a shape that to us could be like, wow, that's too much. So let's say like really large upper body, large like breasts, like extremely large. I'm not talking about just, let's say, going to like a nice healthy D cup. I'm talking about like triple D's or whatever. I don't know what biggest would be. Then you get like a very, very, very small waist, and then you have like really large hips or large butt, you know. So all in all, when we look at all these examples, to us, it's like freak. So in a way, those of you who have gone to the extreme of bringing your vision, your identity of yourself, how you see yourself outwardly, to an extreme where we start looking and saying, she's a freak, he's a freak, this is a freak show. All right? Now, the interesting part is with Pisces, why this happens. A lot of them do it for protection. It's a way to protect yourself. It's a way to protect yourself from this world that's mean, that's critical, bullying, whatever. It's a way to do that. It's a way to kind of protect and say, if I do this, if I look like Aquaman, if I, inject my eyes with ink and make my eyes black, all of it black, people will just leave me alone. They'll be intimidated by me. So, but what's actually happening also is that, so in a way you're playing with your image. You're playing with your image, and it could be really drastic where you go from one extreme to another. Maybe you do the same one for the rest of your life, but either way, you're not happy with what you got, so you're like, I'm going to change it to fit what's in my head. All right? Because that is cooler than what I have. That's much cooler than being just a mere mortal. So now, what's interesting is that you could be doing that also because you enjoy that kind of attention. I said that Pisces is unconditional at the core of it. Pisces is all about they can look at the negative, and in a way it doesn't affect them. The same way that Jesus said, Father, don't, how does it go? It says, Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they're doing. Basically, that was the idea. The same thing here. So let's say another person could be very, very sensitive to criticism. With Saturn in Pisces, you're not, because you're so used to absorbing other people's darkness, nastiness, negative emotions, that it doesn't even affect you in a sense. So because you kind of feel like a martyr, like you're sacrificing yourself. You're kind of saying, it's okay, I love them. I know they don't like this, but I love them. So going back to the body idea, the freak show, let's say, you do that to get that kind of reaction. You are okay with people pointing fingers at you. You're okay with like people going, oh my God, she looks like a demon. Yeah, I can't believe she would do that to herself. To you, that's almost like a very comfortable state. And that's how you give yourself life. In a way to where if nobody is pointing fingers at you, if nobody is talking about you, you're kind of like, something's not right here. So you will do something physically, maybe, in like an outward expression with your body or the way you dress or something that you do to yourself to draw that attention again to yourself, to where you go like, okay, they're pointing the finger at me. Okay, they are criticizing me. Okay, all is well in this world. Like Pisces is like masochistic in that sense. They enjoy being dumped on. They enjoy that. It's like because they don't have boundaries, because they're like all inclusive, all, unconditional in that way, they're okay with that. They're okay with that idea of like, forgive them, God, because they don't know what they're doing. I love them no matter what. So yeah, so that's why you guys are doing it in a way too, is to get that kind of attention. So you may feel like, well, I'm being accepting of everybody and all that, but just realize that you're also doing it for your own ego, for your own masochistic ego, to feel that like that pain idea, that suffering, like I'm gonna suffer. Okay, like Pisces likes to suffer. What else? Talked a lot about the physical idea. Another idea would be if you look at like the physical manifestation, like if you look at the eyes, there's two ways it could be. I noticed there's either Neptune is like that. Neptune is, it's considered to be the higher octave of Venus. So on one hand, Neptune can make somebody really dreamy, like Ryan Gosling, he's got Pisces rising. Patrick Dempsey, Mr. McDreamy, if you watched, what's that show? I forgot. About in the hospital. He has Pisces rising. So McDreamy, you know, the eyes are, there's like a sweetness, there's like how else can I explain it? It's beautiful, but it's beautiful in a way that is dreamy, ethereal, okay? Then on the other extreme, Neptune can also be a little morbid in a way, to where Neptunian eyes can be, just as they can be dreamy and ethereal, they can be kind of like fish eyes, all right? To where some of them can be even dead fish eyes. If you've heard about that, look that up, or like just fish eyes in general. It's eyes that are like big, and they're just, like there's, like when you think of like big eyes, you know, they're expressive. They're like hungry for something, you know, they're like taking things in, you know, you're looking like there's a lot in them. With fish eyes, they're large, but that's it. They're like blank. And there's nothing there. And you're like, is anybody home? Is anybody there? So I would call that like Pisces eyes. That would be other extreme, because Neptune, you know, it does rule the the other realms, the ethereal, but it also rules the deepest depths of an ocean. And we know what kind of creatures live at that depth. You know, some of those fish that live there scary in that darkness. They don't need sunlight, so they have like these interesting eyes, interesting features. That's Neptune too. So Neptune is that way. It can be a little morbid. It can be a little kind of scary, kind of. It's a very specific kind of beauty. Not everybody's going to consider it beautiful, but some people will be drawn to it. So we talked about the physical idea. Now, if we talk about how people respond to you, now you, because of this illusion that you have, you're like a walking illusion, right? Mythical creature, unicorn. Unicorn's very popular with Pisces, right? With Saturn and Pisces South Nodes, you know, mermaids, things like that. So you, because you're this walking illusion. Now to you, it's not an illusion, because you're like, it's my world. I know what I'm talking about. But we are being aware of what we're being sold. But you're so good at it. You're so good at bringing this illusion of yours and making it so real that we believe it, okay? And some of us can even buy into it and maybe even be afraid of it. Like I said, Pisces, and I'm going to give you an example that's going to show somebody who has Saturn in Pisces, where it's not always unicorns and, you know, elves and things like that. No, sometimes it can be somebody who is trying to create an image, to create this illusion, to this smoke around them, to elicit a response from you, maybe to make you afraid of them. Once again, it's like a protection mechanism. All right, so you're very good at creating this illusion, this identity, and selling it to others. So the kind of reaction that people could have to you could be different. You know, some of you, if you are looking like a freak, as the examples we have said, people will be very, very polarized to you. Some people may be inspired by you. Some people may be completely turned off. But either way, you'll create strong reactions. And like I said before, you are going to enjoy them. Now, people could be, you know, Neptune is, it's beckoning, you know, it's mysterious. It's different than the Scorpio mysterious. This is mysterious as in like alluring, a little vague, a little blurry, a little like, what am I looking at? Like, what am I seeing? That's the idea that people could have with you. They may not really know what's in front of them. And you may not even know what you are. That's the thing. Like, you may think you know, but you yourself may not even know who you truly are. What is your identity? What is your image? And that's enjoyable in itself. That's Pisces in itself, because it's a game in itself. It's a way to be. I don't know who I am, but, you know, I'll be this for now, and then I'll be that for now. You know, ever changing, elusive, evasive. escaping, E, you know, elusive, evasive, escaping. And that's how you are with people too. They want to catch you, you know, they want to catch that fish, and then you're never really letting them do that. They may think they caught you, but then you're already gone, or you're not what they thought you were. So there's a lot of that happening too. That illusion is, it's intriguing, because a lot of people, especially like, you'll attract a lot of neurotic people that are like very like logical, and to them you'll just blow their circuits, because they'll be like, something's going on here, I don't know what it is, I can't put my finger on it. But that's the whole point, is that you don't want them to figure you out, you don't want them to catch you. At the end of the day, you don't want to be caught. And that's why you'll attract a lot of you know, if we look at the opposite house is 7th house Virgo, a lot of people who are critical, neurotic, logical, want to change, want to fix, want to figure out, want to calculate. You know, the mind is sharp over there, and it wants to come in and say, what's with this blurriness? What's with this fog? You know, let's clear it away. And you don't want that. You may not want that. So you may be fighting for that, because that's your identity. You know, 1st house, you're fighting for that, like for your world to be left alone. You don't want to be completely figured out. And I bet if you were completely figured out, which is impossible, because you can't figure out an ocean, and that's what Neptune is, you'll still find like another way. That fish will always find somewhere to go and find another world and like represent that. That's why I'm saying, like, your image could shift. It's very fluid. It could be one way, like, you know, for like 5 years you're like this, then you like this, then you're like this, and people still don't know, like, who is she? What is she? What else? If we talk about some famous people that have this, another example of like Neptunian eyes, Billie Eilish. She has Pisces rising, Pisces ascendant. She has Neptunian eyes. You know, they're big, but they're kind of like watery. They're kind of like, you know, they're look her up and you'll see. That's what I mean by Neptunian eyes. So famous people who have this placement, this one. Now, assuming that the data is correct, because when you have like world leaders, historical people, many times the data could be incorrect for, you know, secrecy reasons, whatnot. Maybe there's some documents that haven't been released. But if we go by what is available, Joseph Stalin, yes, he had Saturn in Pisces in the 1st. And you would think, what? But Pisces is a little angel. No. Saturn in Pisces in the 1st, like I said, could manifest itself as this Darth Vader kind of idea, okay? Because the world that you're pulling these creatures from, they're not all angelic, and they're not all gonna be like fairies with pixie dust. No. So in his case, he even changed his name. His name is not Stalin. His name is Jugashvili. That's what he was born with. Stalin means, in Russian, Stal means steel. So Stalin means man of steel. So he created this persona, this identity, this illusion in a way, so he can be feared, so people can be just intimidated by him, scared of him. So he changed his name to Stalin, because he himself saw himself like that. That was his thing, like, I am this way, and I'm going to sell this image to the world, and I'm going to use all kinds of tools to reinforce this image. Now, when we talk about one of these polarizing famous people, I want you guys to just forget about if you like them or not. We're looking at them as a case study to see how this placement was present in their life, how we can look at them and see this placement manifest itself. Okay, so we're looking at it like objectively, like forget about if he's a tyrant, whatever he was. I chose him to show this narrative of like, that you can create this persona of a bad guy, of a guy to be feared. Maybe it was a protection mechanism. Maybe he didn't feel like he was Maybe he felt small and ineffectual, and he wanted to feel big and intimidating and scary, so he created that. Once again, it's an illusion. You guys are playing with illusion, but you're so good at making this illusion and then selling it to us. J.K. Rowling, the writer who brought us Harry Potter, talking about different realms, other realities, different planes, magic, all that stuff. To write about something, you have to have access to it somehow. You have to be living it on some level. So I bet maybe her writing this is her living through that world. That world was very close to her on some level, in her dreams maybe, I don't know. So she brought it to us. What else? I found one guy, an Indian guy, don't know him, but he looked like it. He really fit the whole Neptunian eyes and all that. Salman Khan, he's an Indian actor and film producer. Maybe you guys know him. Maybe you can see this placement through him. What else? I think that's it, guys. Yeah. I would say in conclusion would be that, because it's the first house, it's your identity, you're afraid to lose that identity. So maybe that's why you keep to yourself. Like I said, you don't want to be caught. You don't want to be figured out. You don't want your illusion to be exposed. You don't want your magic trick to be exposed. And so you're very protective of that in a way. So you don't let people close to you because you are afraid that they're going to come in and they're going to, come in with their logical minds and their dirty hands, and they're going to come in and try to change you and fix you and cut and tell you what to do and how to be. And like me being right now telling you, you're living an illusion. It's like, what the fuck does she know? Something like that. Like, you don't want people coming in and like invading that world of yours. You don't want your illusion to be exposed. But people will be drawn to you because you are, Neptune draws people in. Neptune is, what does Neptune also rule? It rules drugs. It rules different states of being. So maybe around you, people feel that way. They feel relaxed. They feel like they're on something without being on something. Just by being around you, they just feel that. And they, especially if they're neurotic and OCD and they're all freaked out and stressed out, they could feel really good around you to where they don't want to let you go. And they're like, I want you to here forever with me. And you're like, no, leave me alone, So you could be that way. You could be that like this, like a Xanax for people, where they just like, they feel relaxed around you, maybe they get sleepy around you. Maybe you look sleepy, okay? Because it's Neptune. Neptune is, he takes you on this journey. He dissolves everything, dilutes everything, mixes everything, and he just like, come on this journey with me, all right? He's the escape artist. He's the one that says, hey, let me show you a world that you haven't been to. That's why a lot of people who are stressed out, who are all over the place in their heads, they do use substances, all kinds of substances, to kind of escape in a way. So that's why Neptune rules all of that. He's great in small dosages, guys, okay? Because you don't want to be completely Neptunian, but you also don't want to be completely like logical and practical and, uptight, So if you guys can have the best of both worlds, you will never lose that world of yours that you have, that you treasure so much. But you can also come in and like, you're here to interact with people, because Saturn shows me that the energy is in the negative, means that you have done it so much that you've basically lived too much in your illusion and did not relate to people in practical ways, did not be involved in relationships, being more practical, not always escaping to where somebody gets interested in you and then you ghost them. Somebody like wants to get serious with you and then you freak out and then you run away because you're used to that, to the idea of like, well, if they need me, they can come get me. They can come try to catch me. Good luck. So yeah, so I would say you are here to interact. You are here to kind of be more practical in a sense, okay? In your day-to-day interactions with people. Interact with people and just introduce them, introduce them to a little bit of your world, help them understand you a little bit, help them escape in a way, okay? But also let them help you in a way to maybe be more present here, to where your feet are on the ground, versus like always somewhere. All right, so it's a mutually beneficial exchange between you and others. Okay, I think this is all I have to say, guys, about this placement. All right, I will leave you with this, and I will see you next time. Good night.